Hello, and welcome back. I recently did a video about the issues with DJI Studio on Windows, and luckily they fixed most of the major issues. So we are now on version 1.4 on Windows, and lo and behold, you can now pan around with your mouse. And also, if you export a panoramic video, it's not cropped anymore, so you can actually work with it. One thing that still does not work is they're still not injecting metadata in the Windows export. So what that means is if you export it on a Mac, this is what comes out of it. And you can look around in the 360 video as you would expect. If you export the same video on Windows, it is flat and you still have to inject the metadata by yourself, which is kind of annoying. And I guess new users would be confused why it looks like this, or maybe they don't even know that it's not supposed to look like this, whatever. Just so you are aware, the Mac version handled this correctly, Windows version does not. But what I want to show you today is actually a quality issue that is worse on the Mac version. I first saw this in a Reddit post where someone tested his 180 mod for the camera, and he complained that the export is very jagged. Let me show you. This is the post. When he exports, the left side is the original video inside the OSV file, and the right side is his export. It's very jagged and it looks kind of low res. When I first did the exports, I didn't realize the jagged edges, or let's say I did, but I just thought, yeah, we are zooming to like 100% and that's just normal. But let me show you something. So first of all, we export the video in DJI Studio for Mac, and after that in Windows. So here we are now in the Mac version. So let's import the source file. That's a nice park. And if we skip a bit further ahead, we come to a harbor with a lot of straight lines. And if we look at this footage in DJI Studio and zoom completely in, you can see it looks quite decent, not much aliasing going on. Everything looks fine, I think. We export it now. Panoramic. Let's get rid of the Chinese names. They still have not fixed that. 8K, highest bitrate, and no noise reduction. And let's export. And before I forget it, let's check the version. So there's no update, and we are currently on 1.0.3 on Mac. Now we switch over to the Windows version, and I will speed things up a little bit. First, we check the version. It's 1.0.4. I import the video again. La 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 la. You can pan around. And there's still the harbor. But one interesting thing in the Windows version is if you see in the preview, the Windows version is way worse than the Mac version. But wait until the end for the plot twist. Now we are going to export the Windows file panoramic 8K maximum bitrate. So the exports are done, and now for a change of scenery, I imported this to DaVinci Resolve because you can stack both videos on top of each other, which makes it way easier to compare them like for like. If we import it to Resolve, you still have the whole panoramic video. So you don't have a 360 view where you could pan around. You still have the flat image, like without the metadata. But for our test, this is perfectly fine. So here on top, I have one video file, and on the bottom, I have the second video file, and I can turn one off and on, so we can see the changes immediately. You may not recognize much difference. You can see maybe in this section around here that there's something going on. It actually looks like a bit of sharpening. At least there's some twitchiness. But if we zoom into 300%, you can actually see it way better. So look at the sign here, and also maybe pay attention to this building here and how jagged the edges are on the Mac export. If I disable the Mac export, this is the Windows export. So you see it's way smoother, and also the sign, the edges of the sign are smoother. Let me turn it off and on in succession so you can really see it. And I'm not really sure what's happening here. So actually, if you go to the Windows version, I would say the Windows version is sharper here on the railings, and the Mac version is actually soft, but the Mac version is the one with the jagged edges. So I have kind of the impression that the Mac version uses a lower resolution. Not really sure. And to show you that this is not, yeah, if you zoom into 300%, what crazy person does this? Let's go a little bit further in the video. And as you may see, I hope YouTube compression doesn't crush it. So you can see the jagged edges here on the railing, and I'm now at 100%. So this is not unusual for 360 footage at all. Again, if I turn off to the Windows track, it's way smoother. And if you play back the video, you will really see the jagged edges. But let me zoom in one more time. So this is the Mac export. This is the Windows export. So I'm not really sure what's happening, but at the moment, the Mac export looks way worse. Finally, something that the Windows version actually does better than the Mac version. I think on the flip side, or on the bright side of this, is if you're using a Mac, I guess you can look forward to have even better video quality in the future, because apparently something is holding back the Mac export for now. And I'm not making those videos to bash on DJI or something. Actually, I was looking forward to this camera and I wanted to buy it, but I wanted to play with some test footage first to see how it really performs. And the more I play around with it, the happier I am that I didn't jump the gun right away, and I'm still waiting. Let's see what further updates bring to us.